The Europeans arrived in what we now call Mexico, or Mexico. They encountered a plethora of what they saw as demons. One of the biggest shocks for the Christian mind was the fact that for the civilizations they found there, these snakes were seen as sacred, often associated with life, death, and fertility. Even the mother goddess Coatlicue of the Mexicas, or as people call them, the Aztecs, wears a skirt made of living rattlesnakes. For the multiple civilizations who had been living on that land for thousands and thousands of years, the notion of evil or of a demon were completely foreign. They saw the ecological function of snakes as they control the populations of rodents that can bring diseases to humans and their crops. The new imposed notion of good and evil created a new layer of dualism that is perfectly embodied in rattles. Objects of death and Christian evil, and symbols of life and indigenous fertility, rattles can also be objects of tenderness when they are made for a baby to play with. The complexities that collide on rattles are made manifest in a traditional song from the region of Sotavento, Veracruz, in the Gulf of Mexico, the first place to be colonized by the Europeans in continental America, so after the Caribbean. And it's also a melting pot of various indigenous, African, and European cultures. This song is called El Cascabel, the rattle. I'm going to perform this for you, but I'll need help. You see, I'm not from Veracruz, and Mexico is extremely big and diverse. Nevertheless, my great-grandfather, Marciano Muñoz de la Barrera, he was from Veracruz. He lived throughout many different regions of Mexico for reasons we can only speculate. So, due to his deep knowledge about the history and traditions of various regions of Mexico, I have decided to ask him to help me share with you the next 3 traditional Mexican songs and the fascinating histories behind them. Histories in plural. As he only speaks Spanish, I'll be coming back to you before each song to tell you all the stories that my great-grandfather has whispered in my ear. Talking about whispering, we have decided to name this project Un lenguaje hecho de susurros, a language made of whispers. We will be right back. There's nothing to be afraid of. por nombre, lleva por cola y por nombre, serpiente de cascabel. Ay. Y tu veneno es la hiel, y tu veneno es la hiel, con que aniquilas al hombre, con que aniquilas al hombre, como un relámpago cruel. Ay, que si quiere vecina, ay, que si quiere vecina, ay, que si quiere bechata, a mí no me mata el celo, tu amor es el que me mata. Y ay, lele. In the 1500s, there was a heated debate about whether the indigenous people of this newly found continent called America had a soul or not. This debate was really important because if they determined that they did have a soul, the Catholic Church would not continue to support the enslavement and occasional massacre of these indigenous populations. Eventually, they did determine that they must have a soul, since their architecture, art, and technology suggested that there was a human being behind their different looks and ways of life. However, they conveniently determined that these pagans had to be saved, and it was the duty of Christians to do it, even if it was by force. That's how the peonaje system started. A rebranding of slavery in which the subjects were quote-unquote free, but owed their colonizers their work in the farms and mines based on the claim that they were in spiritual and economical debt with their hacendados, or masters. Indigenous people were forced to learn Spanish and practice Christianity unless they wanted to have an issue or two with the Spanish Inquisition. The roots of the system run deep through Mexican society and managed to prevail in one way or another after Mexico gained independence from the Spanish Empire in the 19th century. In La Laguna, a mining region in the north of Mexico, this system found a way to survive almost untouched, causing incredible poverty for the workers, but incredible wealth for the landowners, for the hacendados. The miners would gather at night after work, far away from the boss's house, to rest, drink, and make music together. They were so poor that any musical instrument was beyond access, so they sang. Their music resembles the church hymns that their ancestors were taught at the mandatory church visits, which were like 3- and 4-part chorales, a cappella. However, the lyrics talk about their daily lives, love, death, heartbreak. This genre, which is disappearing, is called Canto Cardenche, in honor of the Cardenche cactus, whose spines hurt so much when they pierce the skin, but they hurt so much more when they come out. This is an allegory of this music, which is painful to listen to, but much more painful to sing. This song is called A las 2 de la mañana, at 2 in the morning.
Y a las 2 de la mañana salgo a buscar a mi amor y al momento que la encuentro ella me dice que no. Y se sonría para que le rogara yo. Qué esperanzas que le ruegue y hace tiempo se ha y ella lloraba, ay, sin abrigo. Y ella lloraba, ay, sin consuelo. Se agachaba y se sonría para que le rogara yo. Qué esperanzas que le ruegue y este tiempo se acabó.
The War of Independence fought against the Spanish Empire at the beginning of the 19th century left Mexico broke and vulnerable. On top of the political instability happening within its borders, Mexico had to face foreign invasions. First, the also recently independent United States of America invaded Mexico, gradually taking approximately half of its original territory. What now comprises 8 states: California, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, Wyoming, Colorado, Texas, and Arizona. A few years later, the French Empire, led by Napoleon III, invaded Mexico and established the Second Mexican Empire, led by an Austrian emperor, Maximiliano de Habsburgo. As fancy as this may sound, they only managed to control the center of the country and only lasted for 4 years until the emperor was executed. Thousands of people, locals and invaders, died because of this enterprise. After all of this instability, war, invasions, and economic crisis, one man managed to obtain power, retain it, establish a Mexican industry, and stabilize the economy. This man, Porfirio Diaz, was a powerful and resourceful man who became too fond of his position and kept it for 30 years. To kick him out, the Mexican Revolution had to happen, a violent civil war that ravaged the country for 10 years. It was during this war that my great-grandfather, Marciano, was born. It was also during this war that a man from the same region as the dictator Porfirio Diaz, the region of Oaxaca in the south, was far away from his home fighting against Diaz's regime. This man, José López Alavés, was terribly missing his hometown, a land of sun, warmth, and lush vegetation. Thinking of his home, López Alavés wrote the song Canción Mixteca in honor of his indigenous Mixteco roots, a song that ever since has become a hymn for those who miss their home, and as the lyrics say, feel like a fallen leaf pushed and pulled by the wind. And this makes them want to cry, this makes them want to die.
Qué lejos estoy del suelo donde he nacido. Inmensa nostalgia invade mi pensamiento. Y al verme tan solo y triste, cual hoja al viento, quisiera llorar, quisiera morir de sentimiento.
triste o aloja el viento. Quisiera